We've got 12 Am I the Devil Reddit stories for you guys today. My name is Sarby. I've made over 160 reading Reddit videos for you to listen to while you work, cook, clean, or even fall asleep to. Just like this one, and we're starting this video off with I slightly cheated on my boyfriend. How do I regain his trust and save our relationship? But stick around for 11 more absolutely evil Am I the Devil stories, such as, am I the a-hole for gambling half of my kids' college funds and winning? As well as the story that we're ending the video on, I selfishly enabled my addicted wife and it ruined both of us. Juicy stories for you guys today. Y'all already know the drill. Let's lock in here and read some Reddit. r/relationship advice. I slightly cheated on my boyfriend. How do I regain his trust and save our relationship? We have a 29 female OP, 25 male boyfriend. I made a terrible decision and I completely regret it. I have taken some important lessons about boundaries, transparency, and honesty. I think these lessons can help him feel secure and safe with me. To start off, setting boundaries. I got to this point because I didn't see appropriate boundaries. My boyfriend didn't like this guy because he was much older, married, and mostly because he kept flirting with me. I told my boyfriend that he needs to be okay with me having guy friends, just like I'm okay with him having girlfriends. He told me he's okay with my guy friends, but not the one that's constantly flirting with me, and that I just met him. Which, looking back on it, is fair and would have avoided this situation. Transparency. The guy my boyfriend didn't like is wealthy, which makes sense. He's much older and his wife also makes good money. He invited me out to this really nice restaurant. My boyfriend takes me to nice places too, but mostly on special occasions because of finances. But this guy took me to a nice Michelin restaurant, and I wasn't transparent to my boyfriend about where and who I was with, which in the future, I will be 100% transparent. She's 29 years old and just now grasping the concept of letting your boyfriend know when you're going out to dinner alone with another guy who constantly flirts with you to a really nice restaurant. What the fuck is we doing? Honesty. The biggest thing is I felt obligated to flirt back, and I have recognized that I'm never obligated to do anything just because someone is being nice. What do you mean you're obligated to flirt back? I don't know if that's like a woman's safety thing, but I think that's pretty fucking stupid. You should never feel obligated to flirt back with somebody when you have a boyfriend. That stupidity is just on another planet. After the dinner, which was amazing, we went to this great rooftop bar, got a hookah, and we kissed. He wanted to take things further, but I couldn't betray my boyfriend like that. You're on a whole fucking date with a guy and you kissed him. But oh no, can't have sex. That's too far. You might as well at this point, girl. Call your boyfriend, do the right thing, break up with him, and then go fucking be an asshole. Oh my God. So we just kissed and then he took me home. When my boyfriend asked me about it, I was not the most honest. From this point forward, he gets 100% honesty. Yeah, because you got caught, or I don't know, we'll see. I don't know who told my boyfriend, but somehow he knew. I do have it narrowed down because I did a group FaceTime call to tell my friends about what happened, and they were the only ones who knew. It's 5 different people it could be, and my boyfriend won't tell me who told him about it, but that's a problem another day. Oh, wee woo, you have friends who hold you accountable to being a shitty person. He wanted to break up, but I convinced him to give me time to fix this. The core issue is he said he can't trust me and doesn't want to be in a relationship where he has to doubt if his girlfriend is telling the truth when she says where she's going and who she's with, or feel the need to play detective, and he's not doing that. Yeah, dog, just fucking break up with her. I mean, this applies girl or guy. If you get cheated on, like, there's literally no reason to stay. That relationship is always gonna be tainted, and you're always gonna be constantly anxious about whether or not they're cheating on you, whether or not they're talking to other people. It's not worth it. You can go find someone who's not going to discover transparency, honesty, and boundaries after cheating on you. But he did graciously give me some time to make it right. He said if I have a way to get him to trust me 100% and can go to sleep while I'm out and be confident that I'm not doing anything, he will take me back. So anyone, especially people who face similar issues, what did you do to reassure your partner so they could trust you 100% and feel safe Or what did your partner do? That's fucking crazy. Unless you Men in Black fucking wipe this man's brain of all knowledge that he has of you cheating on him, that is an unrealistic, if not impossible outcome for you guys to achieve. And honestly, if you have any actual remorse for cheating on someone, you should just break up with them. Like immediately, bro. I firmly believe if you cheat on anybody, the only chance for even a modicum of redemption is you immediately break up with the person that you cheated on, because there are things that you need to work on yourself. That's crazy. Did anybody actually give her real advice? Please tell me no. I'm curious. Everybody's fucking her up in the comments. We love to see it. This girl's pissed because someone called her a gold digger. That's so funny. The last thing I'll say, if any of y'all are in a situation where you got cheated on, please just leave. Nobody deserves the anxiety of worrying about someone that they should trust to the utmost level, going behind their back and doing the worst thing that they probably possibly could to their relationship. Cut your losses, sis. I guess I'm a single person who hasn't been in a relationship for a while, but I genuinely believe there are enough people out there that you can find somebody who isn't going to treat you like garbage. Call me delusional, but there are a lot of good fish out there in the sea, and this woman is not fucking one of them. Am I the a-hole for gambling half of my kids' college funds, in parentheses, and winning? Okay, I know that the title sounds horrible, but hear me out. About a week ago, a group of friends and I took a trip to Vegas, and for the record, we all got COVID tested before we went out. I'm looking for a judgment on this specific thing, not on me taking a vacation. The casinos have just opened up recently, and my friends and I have always enjoyed a little bit of gambling, so we decided to check one out. I usually have a specific fund dedicated to gambling, so I don't use up any of our savings, but most of that fund ended up being put towards rent during quarantine, since my girlfriend got laid off of work. So you guys are down bad for money and you're just going on a group trip to Vegas, which is traditionally a very expensive trip where you spend lots of money. Yikes. Now here's where I think I might be the a-hole. It had been over a year since I had gambled last, and I really wanted to gamble. Any other gamblers out there reading this post will get it. That's called a gambling addiction. I didn't want to take away from the house fund or from our grocery fund, so I decided taking money from my kids' college funds would be the best option. One of them is 14 and the other is 11. So there was still plenty of time for me to get the money back before they actually go off to college. One of them is in 4 years, bro. Huh? And I ended up winning. I kept all the money that I gambled, and I ended up making a profit of about a quarter of the fund. I called my girlfriend and excitedly told her the news, but she asked where I had gotten the original money from. I told her and she freaked out. She screamed at me, told me that she was going to tell the kids how immature I was, and hung up on me. Okay, don't get me wrong. Yes, immature. Absolutely not the move. I don't know if I fuck with the telling the kids thing. Can you imagine being a 14-year-old and your mom comes up to you randomly, is like, Dad took your college money and gambled it? I would be like, honestly, knowing my sheltered ass, I would have been like, what's gambling? I know that it was a little bit irresponsible, but I don't really see the issue. If I had lost the money, it might be a different story, but I won. So I don't get why there's a problem. Now my kids have even more money to put into their college fund, and I got to gamble like I wanted to. It's been like 3 days since that conversation, and she hasn't responded to any of my calls. I'm getting really sick of reaching out to her when I don't think I did anything wrong, but my flight home is soon, and I don't want her to bitch about me not apologizing when I get home. But do I even have anything to apologize for? What? Dude, okay. And then the edit is, I don't think you guys get it. I only gambled about $30,000. And now me and my family are all better off because of it. Don't you guys understand that I won? I accept my judgment, but I disagree. $30,000? Only $30,000 is fucking diabolical. The absolute buffoonery of believing that you could replace $30,000 fucking dollars in 4 years is the most ridiculous thing I've read all week. And I read these Reddit stories a lot, especially when your family is clearly down bad for money. What the hell are we doing? Like, if you guys are struggling and need to dip into your other funds to pay rent, hey man, maybe this isn't time for a gambling trip to Vegas with your buddies. I can't believe dudes like this actually exist. This hurts my soul. Don't get me wrong, I understand why people get addicted to gambling, but holy shit, man. $30,000? Like, you can gamble with 100. I don't understand why people people need to have such large amounts of money while they gamble? I don't get it. I don't think I ever will get it. If you win, then rent is covered. Yeah, but if you lose, then rent is not covered. Or in this guy's case, if you lose, then your kid has $30,000 less to pay for their college education. I guess I'll never understand it. I don't feel the need to gamble. I know how to turn $100 into $200, so I'm just kind of like, why would I gamble that? Why would I risk losing the $100 when I can just turn it into 200 pretty easily? How did he have that much saved and still be down bad for money? It could have been in some sort of investment account. I don't know. I forget what they're called, but there's like specific investment accounts you can open up when you have a kid and you want to start a college fund for them. I can't remember what they're called though. Or you could just open up an individual account. That's the best way to do it, honestly, because then not only do you save $1,000, but in theory, you can turn that $1,000 into more money through investments. 529 plan. You can't withdraw from that early without penalties. Maybe he did take penalties. Who knows? This doesn't sound like the brightest guy. I don't know if this dude grew up rich. Saying only 30K is a crazy line. That's insane though. Like I could imagine myself maybe getting to a point where I would gamble like $500. Anything more than that is too much. Unless you're just filthy rich. Unless you could literally fucking wipe your ass with $100 bills, flush it down the toilet, and it wouldn't do anything for you. Fine, bro. But that's crazy. And even that, then it's just stupid, you know? I'm starting to wonder if my wife still loves me when she says things like, "Don't touch me," with an aggressive and sneering tone. We have a male 32 OP and a female 30 wife. Me and my wife have been together for over 10 years. Half of the time we've been married, my love language has always been physical touch, whether giving or receiving. She knows this very well. In parentheses, I don't know if this bit is important. We have a bit of a more progressive dynamic than most straight couples our age, as I work a few hours less than she does, and that time is spent cleaning the house, planning and shopping for dinner, and taking care of kids. She'll tell me sweet nothings, like how amazing I am, how great of a father I am, what would she even do without me, etc., etc. But then in her next breath, utter something like, "Don't touch me," with a very sneering and aggressive tone. As any man would, when my wife is as gorgeous as she is, I can't help but to give her a little tap or a little grab of her butt whenever she's in a position for it. Leaning down, tippy-toeing up, or whatever. Though lately it has been less and less, growing rapidly as I get told something like, in parentheses, title, which I think is referring to the "don't touch me." It confuses me a lot because if she'd say something with a nice tone like, "I'm not really in the mood for touching," I'd immediately respect that and stop until she'd give me a green light for it. She immediately resorts to sneering and aggressiveness, whereas I don't think I even have it in me to talk to my wife like that, which sent me down the spiral of, if I can't talk to someone I love like that, why can she? I've obviously asked about it and she doesn't see why she shouldn't be able to talk to me like that if she doesn't want it. Any men/husbands experience the same thing? What happened to you? And any women/wives who can relate to my wife, is there just something she might not be telling me? Would you talk like that to your husband? Here's the thing, y'all. I think this is more of an I need more information on this. Because like even in the comments, I saw the top comment here saying, "I'm wondering how many times she told him not to do this before getting to the sneering tone he's being offended by. My guess is a lot. I do not trust men who say their love language is physical touch." I think that's fucking dumb because I'm a man whose love language is physical touch. And who knows? Maybe I'm fucking wrong for this. I think being able to appreciate your loved one's butt is something that like, yeah, it is sexual in nature. But to me, that's like almost a little bit of like a bare minimum in our relationship. And I think there has to be more information here for me to validate. Like if he is doing it in front of the kids, doing it too much, she's tried talking about it with him and saying that she doesn't like it and he keeps doing it, then I'm kind of like, yeah, bro, sure. Like you are 100% not in the right here. But I'm also thinking I wouldn't want to be in a marriage like that. I want to be in a marriage where I can show my love through physical touch with my partner and also make them feel sexy by being like, "Hey, yo, look at that booty." To me, I'm not seeing any glaring red flags. What I'm seeing on Reddit right now in these comments are just people making assumptions and wanting to shit on a man. I do think this is an example of a story where if the roles were reversed, we'd be saying something very different. I would not put this in Am I the Devil. I wouldn't even say you're the a-hole. I want more information here. I think there's a lot that we're lacking, but what he's asking for from a marriage doesn't seem completely out of pocket for me. Now, I think we're walking a very thin line because depending on the information, it can either be sexual harassment or maybe his wife is just not giving him what he needs for his love language. Honestly, honestly, I'm kind of pissed about the comment being like, I don't trust men that say that physical touch is their love language. It's literally a fucking love language. Oh, I'm sorry. Like when I love someone, I want to hug them and like literally have them living in my own skin. Like my fucking bad, dog. I'm sorry that that's how I express love for other people. Or what are you guys saying in chat? Are people disagreeing for me? Surely if there was prior consent, she wouldn't be saying don't touch me, etc. No, that's what I want information about. And here's the thing, chat. I don't really think he's doing anything majorly wrong. Sure, should he keep his hands to himself? But the fact that he has a problem with it just screams incompatibility. If that's the fact, there's two ways my brain is going with this, chat. Number one, he has a history of crossing her boundaries, and this is how it's manifesting. The other side of that is I could totally see there's a situation where she is romantically not interested in him anymore and therefore doesn't want him to touch her. In one of the scenarios, OP is in the wrong. In the other one, I actually think the wife is wrong. The wife should communicate that she's no longer romantically interested and they should be taking steps to figure that out. But who knows as well, maybe she's communicated that to OP and he just refuses to share that with us. That's why I think this needs more info. So here's the thing, Squidiot, from my comprehension of this story, what happens is she comes up to him, praises how amazing he is, and then he goes and like touches her butt or something, and then she says something under her breath and he stops. But he's getting a little bit mad about how she's delivering that message to him. It's not like he's saying she says that and then I keep going time and time again. From the way that I read it, I think he's saying I would just really like to touch her butt sometimes because I like physical touch and that's how I show my appreciation for my wife's butt. To me, that doesn't seem like a completely unrealistic, out of this world want, unless there's other circumstances that haven't been communicated through this small Reddit post to us. And that would be maybe she went through something traumatic and she just doesn't want any physical touch to her butt because it traumatizes her. I think that would be a perfectly good reason not to touch her. But like, we just don't have that context. I'm like not gung-ho about demonizing this dude because I totally see other scenarios where OP wouldn't necessarily be in the wrong. If you touch someone without warning, sometimes they tell you really to not touch them because they didn't want you to touch them at the moment. 100%. The way that OP is saying this, and who knows, maybe unreliable narrator, it sounds like he's saying this is every single time I try to touch her butt, which then I think it just bleeds into like, when do I get to appreciate your booty in the way that, you know, it sounds like it was a thing that he was able to do and now it's not something that he's able to do. Even without giving us more information, I think it's a need to communicate with your wife thing. I just think there could be so many scenarios, like maybe the wife feels self-conscious, maybe something traumatic happened. Like there's just so many things. And honestly, y'all, let's be so fucking for real. This guy does not sound like a bad husband. He's like, I'm the stay-at-home partner. I work way less than she does, make less than she does, but because of that, I cook, I clean, I take care of the kids, and I do a good job at it. To be honest, y'all, that does not scream a guy who isn't willing to be aware of his partner's consent. I could be very, very, very fucking wrong. I want to clarify that. But the guys that I've met who are like that are grade A guys. She might be sensitive on her butt because I'm sensitive in some areas and don't like to be touched. They've been together for a little over 10 years. I refuse to believe that this has been an issue for 10 years and they also went on to get married with each other. Like, I think this is something that's as of recent, which then it's like, that needs to be explored. I know consent is fluid, Myces. I'm not saying that it can't change, but what I'm saying is if you're with your partner, don't get me wrong, you should never break your partner's consent. It's always something there and it's fluid, but also with that, I think there needs to be communication there. In a marriage, it's very important to explain why. What if the consent is being revoked because she has no more romantic feelings for him? Or maybe she's cheating on him. I think that's a very extreme case. I don't think that's what's happening here, but it could be. She could be cheating on her husband, feels guilty about it, and doesn't want him to engage anything sexual or romantic with her because she feels guilty about it. Do I think that's the answer? No. But I'm just like bringing up the info. Like there's just a lot of info that we're lacking here. Someone in chat pointed out that there is what looks to be a copy and pasted edit from the original post. So Commodore said, gonna add an edit here since a lot of people seem to think that they know what happened prior and happens daily in our house. Hey, everyone who assumes you know me, my wife, and our life. What I was trying to say is that she is fine with this most of the time, but when she's not fine with it, it goes immediately to that. She has been fine with it for the majority of our relationship until recently, as I thought I pointed out. The entire reason my title is about wondering if she still loves me is because it's a switch up in attitude and not something that she'd usually do. You're assuming I don't stop when told. I do and would, especially if I was told nicely. You're assuming I'm some asshole who just gropes her ass and tits. I'm literally talking about a little tap palm to the butt or a palm on her rear. Things that, again, has been totally cool and fine for the past 9 years. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was kind of focused on, was the switch up in attitude thing. I think I've said my piece, and honestly, this comment doesn't really change much for me, because I think this is how I was understanding it. Like, he's concerned about, she used to be cool about it, now she's not. And I don't think it's completely unrealistic to show appreciation for the woman that you married and are sexually attracted to for showing appreciation to their butt. Maybe fucking crucify me for that, but I'll die on that hill. It makes sense for him to be confused about the switch up. It does not make sense that he hasn't tried to initiate communication yet. Pitcher pond? I think you're cooking. I truly think this is the answer. Is like, hey man, switch up is a little weird. Make sure you're respecting your wife's boundaries because it is consent, but like, hey bro, go talk to her. Am I the a-hole for just liking my coffee the way I like it? I live near a coffee shop that operates from a cart. They are a tiny shop with usually one person on, but sometimes two. Their cart is on the property of a restaurant and is owned by the restaurant, but slightly different. And I'm not a fan of the restaurant, but the cart coffee is honestly some of the best I've ever tasted. They run from 8 to 3 or so, but it usually suits me to come around 2:50 p.m. to 3 p.m., but occasionally much earlier. Today, I came just at 3 and saw the barista was still serving. So I hopped in the queue with a group of women following behind me. As she started steaming the person in front of me's drink, she announced to the queue that they could order the coffee from the restaurant because the cafe was no longer serving past 3. Bear in mind, it's 3:01-ish, and I had probably been in the queue right at 3, if not a few seconds before. I mean, the fucking audacity, bro. Like, I won't even go to a place if it's like 30 minutes until they close. Coming right at the end consistently, the employees of this coffee place definitely talk shit about you. And you 100% should feel embarrassed and ashamed if you're going in when somebody just wants to end their long shift at work and making them work past the time that they're supposed to end their shift. That makes you a bad person. Let me preface by saying the restaurant coffee is just not good. They say it's the same, but it's made by the waitstaff, not baristas. And it really isn't what I'm there for. I also am very health conscious and was mindful of going into a restaurant during a pandemic just to order a coffee. Oh, that's from 3 years ago. The women behind me must not mind because they went into the restaurant, but I figured I'd ask for my usual. The barista turned around to finish serving the person ahead of me and didn't even look at me. Bear in mind, I know her since I come here a lot. Man, she probably fucking hates you, dog. She probably knows you as the motherfucker who makes her work past her shift end. She knows my usual, always smiles and chats, and I even asked her for some treats as she was locking up once, and she said she had wrapped them up for the night a while ago, but was extremely apologetic and remembers to offer me treats every time. When the person left, she finally looked at me. I ordered my usual and she repeated, "I'll just ask you if you could order inside since I've got a close up out here." I asked if she'd make an exception since I'm COVID conscious, and she said just this once, but seemed off. I thanked her again for serving me, and she said no worries, but as she was closing up, I was sitting in their outdoor area on my laptop, and she would not look or smile at me as she usually does, and was barely looking my direction even though it was like 3:05 by the time she made my order. 2 minutes later than if I hadn't ordered. Why is this person like low-key fucking stalking this woman? Like, just go. You have your laptop out and you're working on something. Like, why are you so focused on this person? I know what people say about going to a place at closing time, but I was in the queue just in time. I think she would have happily made the exception for me if it weren't for the group behind me and only asked us all to go because there were 3 or 4 of them. And I'm just wondering if I'm missing something because she acted happy to serve me 1 minute, but was then colder than usual. I mean, this is the same motherfucker that believes in respect your elders and all those stupid fucking things that old people talk about that like has no merit. There's no reason that I should just automatically respect somebody more because they're old as fuck. Like, same shit here. Oh, technically you're open, you're supposed to serve me. Like, no, bro, it's called having the respect for somebody to not make them work past the time that they're supposed to be working. I don't know who the fuck needs to hear this, but if the place closes at 3, even 2:50 is a stretch. With coffee, it might be a little bit different because coffee is easier to prepare, but I would say in general, if they close in 30 minutes, don't fucking walk in there. Unless it's not busy and you know they can finish it really fast and it won't fuck up anything for them, don't go in. The fact that they do this pretty frequently probably means that this girl does not like you. She probably talks shit about you all the time. She refers to you as the guy who comes late and makes her stay past her shift just end. What a fucking asshole. I wouldn't put this in Am I the Devil other than the fact that his general lack of societal respect. I don't know if that's like a term, but like you should just have a general respect for somebody that OP clearly does not have. It's like the world revolves around OP and nobody else. OP shit don't stink and what everybody else does not matter. I pressured this person into subservience and then they didn't pay attention to me. That's exactly what he did, Cuttlefish. I used to work in retail and people would come in like 10 minutes before we close and it would annoy me. Don't get me wrong. There are some times where stuff like this is inevitable. It happens. But unless there's like something urgent, like you haven't eaten in a while, you're going into a retail store, you really need like a tie for a wedding that's happening the next day, like fine. And then you apologize up and down and don't make it a fucking habit, bro. If you're so COVID conscious and shit, why are you not ordering it ahead of time so all you have to do is swing it up and pick it up so it's ready for you? Like even that, even if you just did like an online order, that would make this way easier. But that would require OP to use their brain, and that person did not sound like they had a fucking brain. There's a little comment here. The person that put this in Am I the Devil left a comment saying, also because it's pretty buried, here's his response to people calling him out on asking for a treat. Oh, I wanted to clarify. I fully intended to pay for those treats, but she had done the tills and put them away. I only asked because she still happened to be there, leaving at like 3:45-ish. You're coming in 45 minutes after they closed asking for shit? I realized that was a long shot, but just thought it was worth asking and wanted to highlight that she remembers me and was very apologetic about that situation. I mean, she was apologetic because she's supposed to be polite to you as the customer, but you should have the brains to know that she probably thinks you're a fucking dumbass. And if you can't put that together, you're a fucking dumbass. That's crazy, dude. Like, there's no way she was apologetic in that situation. Just 0%. Posted an r/marriage. I think my wife doesn't help much anymore since she got a job. How do I talk to her about this without sounding like an a-hole? Oh God, here we go. So my wife got a job after being a stay-at-home mom for 2 years. I admit I got the car repoed and messed up her credit when she kept telling me and showing me how to get the loan and pay off the lease. So she was no longer a co-signer and I messed it up. I have also messed up our finances a lot. She was also miserable about being home all the time and felt like she was losing her mind doing everything. So she got a job. What an incredible start. If the lead up of the story looks like that, I think you just delete everything and shut the fuck up. So she works full time with kids. So being home with our daughter wasn't the issue. She works with the before and after school program, so she leaves early and comes home later than me. She does not work a split shift. Since then, I am cleaning a lot more, and I am picking up and dropping off our daughter since I go in later and come home before her. When my wife gets home, she plays and hangs out with our daughter right away, when she used to give me 30 minutes right when I got home. So wait, hold on. Her job is more demanding than yours? And bro's about to complain? She eventually takes a shower and then goes to our room to change and take a moment of peace. For those of you who remember my other post, no, she doesn't invite me to take showers with her anymore. We fucking woo, bro. She doesn't invite me to take showers anymore. What a fucking loser. There's probably a reason why, my guy. I too wouldn't invite you to take showers when you fuck up this bad. When you get the car repoed and mess up her credit. Yeah, that would also turn me off. If she has extra meetings for work, she takes them around our daughter. I do a majority of the laundry and cleaning as I'm home more than her. When I ask for help, she looks annoyed but helps without an issue. When I last told her that I wished she'd want to help, she said, funny, I remember wanting the same thing. It's like she is angry with me for even bringing it up. I also change more diapers, but my wife is constantly potty training our daughter and gets mad at me when I don't sit our daughter on her potty chair when our daughter says she is going potty. My wife cries sometimes because she wishes she had more time with our daughter, but I get annoyed because she's either working or spending time with our daughter or doing whatever else with her friends or by herself. So you're getting annoyed because she's working to sustain your family because clearly you fucking couldn't. Spending time with your daughter, oh, that annoys you. And then God forbid she has some friends to do some things with or take some time to herself. You're right, bro. You should be very annoyed by all of that. My wife also constantly tells me to plan dates, which granted, she normally plans them. I know I need to be better about it. She also tells me to make plans with my friends and that her and her friends will be with Christine. Who the fuck is Christine? I personally hate that my wife does this. It is basically an excuse to hang out with her friends while shopping for groceries and bringing our daughter along. My wife does invite me as well to these, and sometimes I go and others I don't. I guess I am just frustrated because there is more on my plate now. And seems like my wife is not trying to help as much. She picks up after herself and our daughter. My wife doesn't deep clean as much and has me help her now with a lot of it. Our daughter was sick and I took off work because my wife hadn't been at her job for 90 days yet and had no paid time off while I did. It is annoying and I don't want to be the only one doing so. And my wife told me that she would when she had time off. I guess I'm asking what is the best way for me to communicate with her that I need more help with this. I think this bitch just likes to complain. I hope they tore him to fucking shreds on this one. Yeah, he deleted it. So I'm guessing people tore him a new one. That's just so stupid. I don't understand how you can be dumb. You probably have some fixing that you have to do with your wife if you fucked up something so bad that she had to go to work, and now that you have to pick up some of the slack that is there because she had to go to work because you couldn't fucking make your car payments and fucked up her credit, and you want to complain? Nah, bro, you suck it up. She says jump, you say how high, because you haven't earned the right to complain at this moment. You've earned the right to shut the fuck up and do what you're told. Also, just sounds like an insanely bad dad. Bro's like, I've been changing her diapers, even though we're supposed to be potty training her, so she's not like a fucking 8-year-old still wearing diapers. Oh, but wee woo, my wife gets mad at me when I don't take my daughter to the potty and try to potty train her. Fuck my wife, right? I hate it. Throw him away into the garbage. Dude, this woman is raising 2 children. I hope she divorces him, man. I can't believe bro is complaining like that. I know I severely fucked up on an adult level. I just don't want to clean that much. I don't want my wife hanging out with her friends, and her taking care of my daughter really annoys me. What the fuck? R/marriage, definitely not open. Wife, unequivocally, will not open the marriage. I'm not asking her to. I know it's a non-starter unless both want to, but I hate having to pretend I don't want to. I've made my choice. I've chosen her. But if I touch on the topic or mention it's something I desire, in parentheses, desire, not request, exclamation point, end parentheses, she gets so upset and hurt and angry. Yeah, dog, because you're talking about fucking other people. I could see how she would be upset by that. Why bring it up at all? Because the alternative is to segregate my thoughts from her. And she's very good at reading my mind, so it builds walls in my head to protect her. His dog saying that his wife can read his mind, and that's why he's telling her he wants to fuck other women. And I just don't want to do that anymore. It's tiring. I'm making this sacrifice. She can live with the knowledge of it. Yes, she's insecure. I'm afraid of commitment. I like freedom. She likes safety. Can we accept that about each other? You're calling her insecure because she got into a marriage where she thought it was monogamous, and now you're talking about opening it and your desire to open it, but she's insecure for that? I can't. I gotta stop. Listen, I know there are some good open relationships. If you can do that, all power to you. Hot take, a lot of them are not solid. If you don't go into your relationship with the open relationship part being a part of the relationship from the start, I think it can be very rough. Dude, if you really want to fuck other girls, I hope your wife ends it with you. But if she doesn't have the balls to do it, bro, you do it. You clearly do not love and or respect your wife to the level that you should in order to be married to her. Divorce her so that you can go out in the world and then be rejected by every woman ever and realize that you had it good. And I hope she moves on and finds someone 10 times better than you. Why did bro even get married? I don't know. I think some people just get married because they think that's what they're supposed to do. They don't think about it. They don't actually like decide that it's something that's going to be in the long run what they want. It's like, oh, I've been with this person for 5 years. The next thing that I need to do is get married to them. But I don't think they actually sit there and think through like, do I actually want to marry this person? Does marrying this person fit the life that I want to live? Are we actually compatible in the long run? Guy and girl, I think a lot of people fucking do this, y'all. There's a big issue in society society where people are raised to believe that marriage is the end goal. Marriage and having kids. Dumbest shit in the world, bro. People like do that. They blow their money on a marriage. And then when they have no money, they then decide to have kids, which are a financial sinkhole. And people don't have the money to afford said kids or lifestyle that they want to live. It's so dumb. Am I the a-hole for being concerned about my infant son's crying? My 35 male, 13-month-old son was sick for like a week and had been really fussy. He was crying and shrieking a lot when he was not distracted, eating, or drinking. He was up crying at night and breastfeeding with my wife, 34 female, almost every hour when he usually sleeps at least 3 hours at a time. It was pretty bad. And I guess it also happened all day long, according to my wife, and it was driving my wife insane after a week. She cried a couple times saying that she couldn't handle it anymore and needed a break. When she went downstairs to cool off, she was just loudly complaining about how she is tired, she's overwhelmed, she's exhausted, she can't deal with all the screaming and breastfeeding, and let out an arg of anger. My son was still crying while I tried to distract him in our spare room, and then my wife came in and said she was going to put him to bed because he seemed tired. My wife took my son into his bedroom and all hell broke loose. He was literally screaming, crying, coughing, screaming some more. I hear my wife loudly say, "Jamie, seriously, I'm trying, little man." And he just kept on screaming super hard. I have no idea what was going on, but it sounded bad, and I ran in there and asked my wife, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was just worried about my son. She asked, "Wait, what? Are you serious?" And I said I was dead serious. "What are you doing to him?" She said, "I'm changing his diaper, douchebag," which I could see she was. He was rolling all over the place, kicking, just freaking way out. As soon as my wife picked him up, he stopped crying. My wife looked me dead in the eyes and said, "That was not okay, and I want a divorce." This was 3 days ago. She hasn't spoken to me, is sleeping on a futon in the spare room, and left a divorce application on the coffee table. My son is no longer sick, thank God, and everything is back to normal. I told my mom about what is going on, and she got mad and said, "What the hell? You thought she was hurting him because he was crying?" And yeah, I guess I never heard him cry like that. And my wife was obviously mad. So who really knows? Yeah, everybody's telling me that I'm wrong, but like, who's to say? Who's to fucking say? You should be shutting the fuck up and be on your knees begging and pleading her not to divorce you. I tried to apologize for how bad it sounded, but she won't listen. Am I the a-hole for being concerned about my son's safety? Do I think the divorce thing might be a little overboard and probably fueled by the stress and emotions that they're feeling? Totally. Was his reaction fucking weird? Yeah, I would never accuse a mother of their own child hurting a baby when you know that that baby is in a mood because they're sick. Why was his go-to reaction, "You're hurting our baby"? Like, that's not concern for your son's safety. I think that's lack of trust in your partner. Obviously, if he's so concerned, he should be helping, but if I heard a cry come from my child that I've never heard before, I would definitely be concerned. Yes, but that doesn't mean that you should go in there and your first reaction is to accuse them of hurting your child. You can be concerned without accusing your partner, who is the mother of your child, of actively doing something on purpose to harm the baby and then doubling down on it. I don't think this is a concern for your kid thing. I think this is a lack of partner trust or like wanting to blame the partner. If the husband was around enough, he would know what the baby sounds like when it's upset, aka he probably doesn't help with the kid. No, I wasn't getting a strong vibe that this is a great dad who's helping out with the kid a lot. Like, call me a little bit crazy, chat, but like, if your wife is staying home with the kid, there needs to be an arrangement where like, yeah, you know what? You got to pay your bills. But when you're home, you should take over full care of the kid and allow your partner to get sleep. I think a lot of you guys are saying this in chat, but it sounds like there's probably a lot missing here. The wife definitely has like a little bit of like an explosive reaction, but I have a feeling that that explosive reaction has a lot of merit to it. And there's a lot here that OP is not telling us. The person who put it into Am I the Devil did leave a little comment here that says, in his own words, this woman is responsible for their child all day and all night. When she expresses her frustration and exhaustion, he leaps not to help, but assume and accuse her of something terrible. Now has the gall to be surprised that she no longer can stand to be around him. Turd behavior like this is part of a reason why struggling moms don't feel able to seek help. Yeah, dudes like this should not be having kids, all right? Chat, when y'all pick a partner, and if you decide to have kids with them, make sure that they are a-okay with actually being a fucking helpful partner. I think so many dudes want to have kids and then not take care of them. They're just like, yes, I want to impregnate you, destroy your body, and then you take care of that kid for 18 years. Absolutely not. Fuck that. Too many people just be checking boxes instead of considering what's best for them personally. Well, it would take mental effort to figure out what would be best for you instead of just, oh, I should have a kid. That's what people do when they turn a certain age and they have a decent job. They just pump out a fucking kid. Yeah, bro. Dumb. Look who came to say hi. Oh, I'm so sorry. I picked you up so funny. That's on me. I thought I had you, but I didn't. That's on me, dog. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think he forgives me, chat. You're so excited to see you because you're just a handsome guy. You're just the prettiest guy around town. Is it treat time for the boy? Let's give the boy some treats, huh? Is this what you came for? Should we get the crunch going, guys? Oh, hell yeah, baby. Sound good, chat? Who wants to hear the crunch? Thank you guys for supporting me and my baby boy. Specifically, Kit Kat, Mbem, Charles Yeast, Cree for all the gifted subs. Thank you, guys. And now let's feed the beast. He did a treat. He did a treat for my guy. Did you guys get the crunch? Here, let's give him another one. Oh, I feel like that was a good one. I don't think he likes me sticking this in his face. We're trying to get a better angle. I'm just feeding my cat. I'm just giving my cat treats. Oh, yeah. You have one more. There's one more for you, sweet boy. Oh, you got it. Were those treats good? I take that as a yes. Oh, yeah. That's my sweet handsome man. The silliest boy around town. Just hanging out with us. Yeah. Oh, that's a sweet boy. Thank you. He is a very big cat. Don't get me wrong. He is well fed, but he's also large and in charge. Oh, there he goes. There goes my hero. Watch him as he... I don't remember the lyrics to that song. I'm not gonna lie, chat. There goes my hero. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter to get over herself? My husband said to post this here because he likes to read the sub and thinks people here give good opinions. I'm 50 female. Daughter is 26 female. She is getting a PhD and is the first in our family to go to college, let alone grad school. We were talking on FaceTime and she mentioned she was meeting with an advisor to talk about submitting an application for a grant to go to Germany for 2 weeks in the summer. I said it sounded awesome, especially since I am half German, making her part German as well, and that I've always wanted to see Germany, so maybe I could come out with her and make it a girls' trip. She said, it's not a vacation. If I go, I'm going to be teaching and researching and networking the entire time I'm there. I said she can do that during the weekdays and we can go out for dinner in the evenings and then go sightseeing on the weekends. She said it's already a very cramped amount of time, 2 weeks in Europe cramped? And that she wants to spend her free time networking with other academics there and making connections at the university. I said I'm happy to also meet the academics, and she said it wouldn't work like that, and she'd look childish bringing a parent to all the events with her. Everything the daughter's saying makes perfect sense. This mom just wants to be overly intrusive. At this point, I was feeling completely tossed aside, like I'm not good enough to be around her academic life and academic friends. Like she would be embarrassed to have me around. So I said, you need to get over yourself and quick, because all of these academics aren't going to be the only people you meet, and not everyone loves her unconditionally to put up with such annoying and elitist talk. She just said, okay, and hung up. Yeah, that mom took that way more personally than she needed to. If your daughter is applying for a grant to go on an academic trip for her academics and her career, you can't just invite yourself. That's not how this works. Like, I saw Kathy while I was at VidCon. I was staying with my grandparents. My mom was there as well. If Kathy would have invited herself to VidCon, I would have been like, no, that's not why I'm going to VidCon, to hang out with my mother. I'm going to VidCon so that I can hear people speak who work at the platforms and meet other creators and network, not have to worry about, oh, is my mom having fun? Like, no, that's so dumb. It's not elitist that she wants something that's purely supposed to be for her career to be about only her career. My husband was upset with me because now she's being short with us, but I know he's also annoyed at her constantly going to all these research trips and conventions, in parentheses, a Hawaii trip, a Seattle trip, and a DC trip. And whenever we say we want to come with her, another parentheses, and we're not even expected to be paid for it, we'd pay for it ourselves, she says she won't have time, completely blowing us off. I mean, God forbid your daughter who's getting a PhD goes on research trips and conventions to further along her education and her career so that she can be set up for life. God forbid she does that. This is such like a boomer mentality. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like your kid is trying to create a life for themselves that doesn't involve you. Hey bro, fuck off. Oh, wee woo, your daughter went on a Hawaii trip, a Seattle trip, a DC trip without you for her career. Get over it. She's a full-grown adult. She's going to have things in her life now that conflict with what you want her to do, but because she's an adult, she makes her own adult decisions. Suck it up, bro. So since my husband apparently now thinks I'm an a-hole, my daughter clearly does, I figured I'd ask here. Yeah, you're the a-hole. That's so entitled. Imagine thinking you're entitled to your 26-year-old full-grown daughter's time and vacations. Not even vacations, but trips for her career. Just because you birthed them doesn't mean that they owe you shit for the rest of their life. Put that on a fucking mug and give that to every parent. She genuinely might not have time for them too if she's busy. Even if she doesn't, that does not matter. Like, sure, I might have had more time to hang out with my family when I was at VidCon, but I told them from the start, because my mom kept asking me about things that I could make it to, and I told her, I was like, I am here for VidCon. I'm going to speakers after VidCon networking events that I get invited to because it's good for my career. That is going to come before anything family-wise because this isn't a family trip. Now, if this were a family trip, it'd be completely different, but I'm coming here for this reason, and I'm going to prioritize that reason. If she wants to go to Germany purely for a work trip, her mom has no right trying to step on that. She wants to spend her free time networking with other academics there and making connections at the university. I'm happy to also meet the academics. Like, you can't just invite yourself. Like, if you really want to go to Germany with your daughter, just schedule a side trip. Or maybe even ask her if she can stay a week after. Hey, can you do something where you go to Germany, you do this for 2 weeks, and then we fly in and spend a week together? Boom, problem solved. But being there while she's there and trying to intrude on her life, unacceptable. We got an r/relationship advice post. My girlfriend of 10 years gave me an ultimatum: marry or break up. I love her, but the thought of marriage suffocates me. We have a male 30 OP, female 29 girlfriend. Hey Reddit, I'm in a really complex situation and could desperately use some outside perspectives. The background: I'm a 30-year-old man and my girlfriend is 29. We've been together for nearly 10 years. I'm an immigrant and she was there for me through my toughest time settling in. I've also been there for her through our own struggles, from her studies and career to a major surgery. My financial situation is stable thanks to family support, but perhaps because of this, I feel I'm very immature and childish for my age. Even though things are getting better, I still feel like my mental age is around 25. My girlfriend, she's a partner you can barely find a flaw in. In my own words, she's my best friend, my teammate in life, my lover. She loves me, gets me, and is very patient with me. With her, I can clearly envision a life of simple, smooth, and stable happiness. She's ready to settle down as her doctor advised her to have children before 32. The problem is, wow, wait, hold on. So dog, that's cutting it so close. I want to know when this doctor advised them, because if it was recently, fine, whatever. But if the doctor advised her like a couple years ago, this is kind of fucked up of OP. The problem is me. I know that marrying her while I have these unresolved issues would be a disaster. 1, a craving for a solo adventure. I have an intense desire to feel in control of my own life. For example, I dream of traveling to Japan alone, of exploring many more countries by myself. I know you can still do this after having kids, but come on. 2, the missed youth. This is the biggest issue. I spent most of my 20s in a haze, dealing with the inner turmoil of immigration and using video games as an escape. That's when I met my girlfriend. I was weak back then, heavily relying on her for language support and companionship. But now I find my eyes constantly drawn to young, beautiful women on the street. I crave newness and freshness. This is my ugly but honest truth. When people tell me to give up this desire, it feels like they're asking me to cut off my own leg. 3. Fear of the married life package. I believe I can be a good father, but I don't want to leave my child in a single parent environment before he/she turns 18. Is he basically saying not only does he foresee himself leaving the wife, but also abandoning the child? Because he said a single parent environment. So that means that you would fucking dip out of there on your child, but you believe you could be a good father? What? Also, I'm terrified of the nearly 20 years of responsibility and routine that will lock my life path in place. Many will say there's still freedom and possibilities after marriage. To me, in terms of freedom, it feels like a discounted, compromised, cheap version of it. I mean, shit, I don't know if there's much to elaborate on, because he started with this by saying the problem is me, which, yeah, bro, all 3 of these problems are fucking you. Craving a solo adventure, you could have done that. You're fucking 30 years old. Though I will say it sounds like you're still mooching off your parents for some reason at 30 years old. Not sure why that is, but you could have definitely soloed adventure by now. Missed youth, that's on you, bro. I don't know what you want me to tell you here. You crave newness and freshness looking at other girls that, let's be fucking so for real, you probably couldn't get any of them. Fear of the married life package. Now, all this is telling me is that bro thinks the only path in life that he can take is marriage and having kids. I'm gonna be so real, chat. This guy does not sound like someone who would be a good father. He should just give up on the kids part, break up with this girl, explore around. He probably will fucking fail at that. And then find somebody who doesn't want kids. Because this does not sound like a guy who would be happy with kids if this is how he thinks about having kids. If you think of having kids as being locked into responsibility and routine for 20 years, yeah, dog, just don't have kids and then you won't be. Why do you have to spew your seed across the world? Just fucking snip your balls and go through life without a crotch goblin. My inner turmoil. I can't convince myself to give up the fantasy of more possibilities. I feel that I'm just starting to grow. The thought of losing her forever, of never seeing her again, is heartbreaking. It brings me to tears. She's my safe harbor, the only person I can be myself with without any masks. I'm also afraid I'll never find someone as compatible as her. I feel guilty, but I've come to realize that marrying her out of guilt would be another form of disrespect. I mean, dog, this whole post is disrespect. If you have any respect for her, you should immediately break up with her. Like, if this is how you feel and you truthfully care about her, you're wasting her fucking time. Every day that you don't communicate this to her and end your relationship, you are bringing her one step closer to the age that her doctor recommends that she has kids before, and that is clearly very important to her. The ultimatum. She has given me a final choice. Marry her or break up immediately to cut our losses. There's no middle ground. To give us space to think, she recently moved into a nearby apartment. Since she left, I've paradoxically found myself with more energy and drive and a stronger sense of urgency about my life. I know this is about me figuring myself out, Reddit. Which path would you choose? The perfect harbor and spend a lifetime fighting off the what ifs? Or the uncertain, lonely path of adventure in search of a version of myself that may or may not exist? Has anyone been here before? What did you do and how did it turn out for you? Any regrets? I mean, bro, like, I don't even think this is which path I should choose. This is you're a bad person who needs to work on themselves, and it's very unethical for you to stay with this person. When you marry someone, it should be, oh my God, this is exactly what I want, and there's literally no other path I would choose. If it's anything other than that, not only out of respect for yourself, but out of respect for the person that you are gonna marry, fucking leave. Go be an asshat somewhere else that doesn't affect people's lives. It's literally that easy. They did add a quick little edit here. Thank you very much for your advice. This question has been bothering me for months, and I will never feel that anyone here wants to insult me. You should definitely feel like they want to insult you because I want to insult you, and I'm sure other people did too. I also have a stupid idea. I want to travel with her this year because life with her is mostly supermarkets, government hospitals, immigration offices, and daily necessities. On the one hand, I feel sorry for her, and on the other hand, I feel it's a pity. She and I are compatible, and traveling abroad together may make this relationship less regretful. I talked to her about it yesterday, but she was almost angry. Bro, imagine your partner calling your relationship regretful. Dog, I hope this girl fucking squashed OP like a bug and broke up with him. This is just such a like, the world revolves around me. I'm a fucking narcissist. All that matters is my happiness and how I feel. I don't even give a shit about this person who I've been dragging through the mud for 10 years. Fuck that and their feelings and how this could affect them. I want to experience something new and fresh and solo travel because I wasn't able to do that when I was young because I was a loser. Fuck that. May this love never find me, please and thank you. Posted an r/momit, which is basically just a mom subreddit where they talk about their babies and shit. Server spilled coffee and burned my baby this weekend. So this weekend we were driving down to Tennessee to spend a nice relaxing weekend at a cabin. I have an 11-month-old baby girl who is just able to sit in a high chair. We stopped at a well-known sit-down chain restaurant. After getting settled and being handed at least 6 menus between the 4 of us, we started to figure out what we wanted. Well, my husband ordered coffee, and the server decided to try to pour it in front of my daughter, then hand it to my husband. It was like watching something in slow motion. Her fingers grabbed the porcelain coffee cup, and it immediately spilled all over her. I stood up, ripped her onesie off her, and ran outside of my van. I quickly took baby wipes, dipped them in my water I had, and started draping her in cooled baby wipes. I then ripped her diaper off and just held my burned daughter against my chest with both of us sobbing in the parking lot. No one came out to check. The server saw it. The lady near us saw it. The server even said, "Let me get you napkins," like that would help. So I guess a preface for this is the person who posted this in Am I the Devil said server did not spill the coffee. I feel like this is just one where I have to finish reading. Eventually my husband came out and said he asked for Neosporin and no one knew what that was. I just sat inside my van holding my burned baby covered in water-soaked wet wipes. Finally, the manager came out with some lidocaine spray and basically said sorry. Needless to say, my daughter now has second-degree burns on her wrist and thigh. I think I minimized the damage done because I covered her in antibacterial Vaseline and cold wet wipes for the next several hours. I am now nursing her burns as best as I can. I took her to an urgent care a little ways outside of the location where the incident happened. The nurses were awesome at the urgent care. They were so sweet with my baby daughter. They wrapped her wrist and thigh in this pink tape, and that made me cry because it was so sweet. The nurses were so caring and understanding. They handled my baby with such care. I'm just heartbroken. I am so careful and diligent with both my kids. I just keep replaying the scenario in my head over and over. I don't know why I'm making this post. I'm just sad and I can't get past it. Edit, the server should have taken the extra steps to put a cup in front of the husband who ordered the coffee. The fact that it was close enough for my baby to reach it shows the negligence of the server. A commenter clarified, so the server didn't spill anything, and from the way it was written, may not have even been at the table anymore when the baby grabbed the coffee cup. Then she's upset that nobody came to the parking lot to check on her. But if I was there and saw a woman frantically run out of the building with her screaming baby, I would likely believe that they were headed to a hospital, not just going to hang around in the parking lot where there's no running water to help treat the burns. It really sounds like dad didn't keep an eye on his coffee, the baby spilled it, and they want to blame the server instead. Then the actual person who put this in Am I the Devil replied to that comment saying, yes, I'm not going to lie, initially as someone who served tables for over a decade, and as a parent, I read it as the server was overly negligent. But after OP's edits and comments, you realize that the parents definitely had an opportunity to prevent this as well. It's honestly super bizarre. She admits that the baby grabbed it after the server placed it down, yet she doubles down on it being the server's fault because a random old lady was confused about the situation and said what she thought happened. It's honestly very hard to piece it all together because I truly think she is so upset that she is rearranging what went on because she wants it to be the server's fault completely. Chat, am I gonna get yelled at for this? But I low-key think this is more of an everyone sucks here. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure OP is twisting this and trying to make it sound better in her favor to blame the server, but if the server did put a cup of hot coffee in front of a child, that seems like not a good idea. At the end of the day, a lot of the comments, what they were saying was like, it really is up to the parents to foresee danger because they're the ones with kids. They're the ones that need to know when a kid is in danger, not maybe like a server who, for all we know, is like still in high school. Yeah, no, 100%. I think at the end of the day, the parents need to take most of the accountability. I also think there's a little bit of the server accountability there too. I'm not letting OP or the husband off scot-free. I do think OP's an unreliable narrator. I I think the husband is definitely complicit in this, if not OP as well. But all I'm saying is if I were a server and I was serving hot coffee to someone, my reaction wouldn't be to serve it next to a baby. I mean, like, I'm super careful about keeping hot things away from my cat. Like, cats and babies are on the same level where they're both dumb and do stupid things. Therefore, you want to mitigate the possibility that they're gonna hurt themselves by something that they don't understand. So like, to me, I wouldn't pour hot coffee next to my cat, and therefore I also wouldn't pour hot coffee next to a baby. I don't know, I think that's something that they should at least train you to do if you're a server. I've never been a server. Personally, feeling more of everyone sucks here. I don't think OP's perfect. I don't think the husband's perfect. I think there's a lot of blame here on both of them. It seems unfair to go to bat for this random server. You know what I'm saying? To completely, oh, she's just lying. Maybe, but I don't know. That's not where my brain went. My wife handled a disagreement immaturely. How do I get her to respect my feelings? We have a 33 male OP and a 32 female wife. We are both at fault. See, I am a jokester and I do some pranks. A couple times I did a prank where I pretended to cheat on her. Now she told me she didn't like those pranks, but I did it one more time and I shouldn't have. Well, my wife got back at me by doing a cheating prank. It hurt my feelings. Oh, funny how that fucking works. Man, she's just being sensitive, but when it hurts my feelings, why would you do that? It can hurt you and emotionally damage you, but me? Unacceptable. How dare you not care about my feelings? It hurt my feelings. I now see what she means by cheating pranks aren't fun, but I'm hurt that she knew how hurtful they can be, yet did it. She said, obviously I'm the type that needs to learn through experience, but that's not true. I would never intentionally hurt my wife. She told me she didn't like those pranks, but I did it one more time. I would never intentionally hurt my wife. Hey man, I mean this so genuinely, sincerely. Are you fucking stupid? Yo mama needed some grippy gloves because she dropped you on your head way too much as a kid. God damn. I would never intentionally hurt my wife. When I did the pranks, I didn't realize how big of a deal they were, but she knew and still did it. I love my wife and our marriage is fantastic and hoping to start trying for a baby, but this hurt my feelings a lot. I'm not about that toxic masculinity shit, but like, suck it up. You're being a bitch. Oh, wee woo. I was doing a prank to my wife because it was so funny and she did it back and you hurt my feelings. I hope she doesn't procreate with this man child. Please do the world a favor, OP's wife, and do not allow him to spew his seed. This man is brain dead. We do not need more of this. Please do not have this person's children. Please, 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 please. I feel like cheating pranks are divorce worthy. I would get the ick. If I was dating or married to somebody who thought that a divorce prank was funny, all the feelings I ever had for that person would be over. You can't tell me that that is funny to you. Like, that's not funny. That's cruel and unusual. You have to be like low-key a psychopath. That being said, that was a pretty easy one. Fuck that guy. R/true off my chest. I selfishly enabled my sex-addicted wife and it ruined both of us. Really quick, I just wanted to remind you guys I have over 160 reading Reddit videos on my YouTube channel. So if you want more of this once the video is done, feel free to dive into another video with more juicy Reddit stories. As well as if this is your second or third video, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Would greatly appreciate it and would love to see you more on my channel. I don't really have anyone else to tell this to, nor do I want this getting out amongst my family and friends for my wife's sake. My wife has had a terrible past that included drugs and sex. She recovered, went to meetings regularly, we started dating, and soon we were married. She always had very high sex drive. One night, about 8 months ago, we got drunk and I saw her wild side. We did things that I've never done before. It was crazy, fun, and exciting. We both woke up the next morning and felt great. At the time, I didn't think anything of it, but really, that was the first time she had actually gotten drunk since we were married. It was just a one-night thing. A couple weeks later, it happened again. Then again, and again. We were both really enjoying it. Suddenly, she no longer had control of herself. I was having the time of my life and didn't think for a second what it was doing to her. I started catching her in lies about where she was and what she was doing, but then we would make up and she would get drunk and we would have a night to remember. Next thing I know, I'm asking if she wants a drink, hoping to engage her into something I had yet to do. Okay, yeah, that's massively fucked up, my guy. The day came that I think sent her over the edge. We were drunk and I asked her about bringing a third into our bedroom. She was against it. A week later, she was at a friend's party where it happened. She got drunk and brought a third home with her. She woke up the next morning full of regret. We fought, regrettable things were said, and she ended up moving into her mother's house for a while. A couple weeks go by and things seemed to be taking a turn for the better. She would spend the day at the house, but still sleep at her mother's. One day I woke with an issue. I went to the doctors and found out I had an STD. I knew it had to be from her. I grabbed her phone, and when I opened it, she had sexually explicit photos of her and a few other guys and girls. Just right there, like she had been looking at them before she set her phone down. I regrettably went down a rabbit hole and found her Reddit profile. Over the past month or so, she had been on a work trip where she would only come home on the weekends. I found out on her work trips, she was sleeping with her coworkers and strangers from local bars. I counted up to 25 people that month. She was out of control. I confronted her about it, I told her mother about it, and her mother had recently caught her with a date that her mother brought home. Her mother had recently caught her with a date that her mother brought home. So the mother had a date that she brought home, and then somehow OP's wife, the mother's daughter, slept with the mother's date? Holy shit. Her mother knew this and said nothing to me about it. Just, she's going through some things and we are working on it. I love her. I played a big part in screwing her up again. I ruined both of us for my own pleasure. I want to be there for her, but I don't think I can look at her the same ever again. Damn, and there are 5 edits on this. Hold on. Before I get to the edits, what the fuck did I just read? What in the hell did I just read, chat? OP is absolutely the devil because of, like, this line right here. Like, bro knew that his wife had a terrible past that included drugs and sex, and he actively would get her drunk so that she could have wild sex that would probably clearly trigger things that she had done in the past. Like that, wow. I know some people are probably gonna get mad at me. I think this is a little bit of an everyone sucks here. I always have a hard time, like, quote unquote, blaming an addict, you know, but like cheating on someone, not a great move. Final thing I'll say, this is out of Reddit's pay grade. This is one of the most fucking wild stories I think I've seen in a while here. As an addict myself, sure, I can be enabled, but ultimately I'm an adult and I need to control my actions. Everyone's an asshole. Thank you for saying that, because I felt like an asshole being like, yeah, this addict, it's their fault. Like, I want to give her like sympathy and empathy because like addiction's a hard demon to battle, but I think you're right. I think there does need to be a level of accountability there. I think they need to go to therapy together and alone. OP's wife needs to go to rehab and or AA and leave OP. I mean, I think if OP really has respect for this wife, he would be there for her, but also because like he enabled this. Like, this is very much not 100% his fault, but he contributed to it. And if the wife needs support to get over it, he should be there to support. That being said, I think if the husband truly respects his wife, he needs to know he fucked up and he needs to put an end to the marriage. He needs to be like, I did not help this. I should have been seeing the signs and not taking advantage of it. I should have been trying to push you to go to AA, push you to do, you know, whatever you need to do to like get your addiction under control, not pour gasoline on a bonfire. We have 5 edits here. Edit 1, I wanted to add, because the alcohol seems to be a real sticking point in the comments, that she was never completely sober. Since I've known her, she's always drank alcohol, even when going through addiction therapy the first time before me. She always had a drink for dinner or would have 3 or 4 with friends or family at a party or a barbecue. It was only when she got drunk the first time around me that the switch flipped. Heck, when I met her and found out she was a recovering drug addict, we were at a bar with mutual friends drinking. Edit 2, this all started from one night that we were both drunk. We had multiple sober conversations about what happened. She enjoyed it and would sometimes bring up wanting to get drunk and have crazy sex. Other times I would bring it up. It was always talked about while sober. I disagree with everyone saying it was our word. Edit 3, I did not fully know she was a sex addict until a few months ago after the threesome. She always joked around about it because she had a high sex drive. It wasn't until a serious conversation we had one night about her meeting a friend she used to do drugs with that it came out that she was also a sex addict. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, his shit is not adding up here. Like, I think this is so important. Why was this not included up here? If what he said in edit 3 is true about not knowing that she's a sex addict, and with everything in edit 1 saying that she was already drinking alcohol, if he didn't know, how would he know that what he was doing was bad? But reading this, the beginning of the actual post, I'm not getting that vibe that he didn't actually know. Because if he didn't actually know, why didn't he say it up here? He could have easily said, she's a sex addict, but I didn't know, and therefore I was enabling behavior that I didn't know was dangerous to her. Edit 4, this was a lot lot to take in and got way bigger than expected, so I'll be taking a break from Reddit for a minute. I do appreciate all of your comments. As far as the threesome is concerned, she went out with friends, got drunk, brought her friend home that she had a sexual history with, and was actively having sex with her when I walked in on them. They invited me to join. Edit 5, I've definitely wrote this on my phone. I think I've said some things that are being taken in the wrong context. That's my fault. I was never good at writing my thoughts down. A lot of people are caught up on this sentence. Next thing I know, I'm asking if she wants a drink, hoping to engage her into something I had yet to do. I asked if she wanted to drink every night, even before all this went downhill. After this started happening, she wanted me to do this. She said her mind would come up with crazy sexual scenarios or things we could do, and she loved it. I was not doing this so I could R-word her. I was simply doing this to see what she would come up with that we could do later. Completely consensual. Again, all of this was talked about while sober. She loved feeling free while having sex, and she said alcohol helped her bring her guard down. I wish I understood what that really meant. I am 100% at fault here. I thought everyone was happy and we had a great sex life. I did not fully understand what she was going through. I don't know how you get married to someone without telling them beforehand that you're a sex addict. Like, to me, that seems like something you would communicate to your partner who you're about to have sex with. If you're marrying them, implied in the marriage is that you guys are going to have sex together. Isn't it kind of important for them to know that you have past addiction with sex? I don't know, man. This is breaking my fucking brain. I guess if he truly didn't know that, there might be an argument for OP not being as in fault as I want to put on him, but I'm also just like, how do you not know that? At that rate, you don't know who that person truly is. What are y'all saying? I don't think I have a solid opinion on this. There's a lot of, oh, I said this, but I didn't explain myself, and here's the full explanation, but I don't want to trust him. He doesn't sound like he was overly responsible, but I do think there could be a scenario where he didn't know about the sex addiction and they were talking about the crazy stuff they wanted to do together while sober, and he was more offering a drink so that they could loosen up to do that between two consenting adults. I don't necessarily look at that as like the R word, but like he's definitely irresponsible here. But intentionally getting someone drunk so they're more compliant is R word. I don't disagree with you, Marley, but I don't, what he's saying is he wasn't doing it so that they're more compliant. He was saying like, listen, we're gonna have an adult conversation here. When you have sex drunk, it's a little bit different. There's some positions that you might try that you wouldn't necessarily do sober. I'm not gonna go into details, but there's certain things that I will do during drunk sex that I won't during sober. I'm down to get drunk so I'm more comfortable to do those things. This is me sober saying that. So like, if that is something that they did together, where they had a consensual conversation about that, and then he's like, okay, well, you know, hey, let's drink, you know, let's get to that point. I don't know. And also, I want to clarify, I'm not necessarily fully on board that he's telling the complete truth. I think this has a really good case for unreliable narrator. Also, this is if the stars are aligning and everything OP is telling us is correct and not lying. He also has no clue that she has a sex addiction. So I'm really like, I feel like unless he knows that, he can't actively like taking advantage of it. But I don't believe that. You guys were saying in the comments, for an addiction not to manifest itself in a relationship and not to come up, especially by the time you guys are married, I don't believe that. This whole story was just so not put together with all the information. Like, making 5 edits on a Reddit post means that you just suck at giving everybody the information that they need, or you're changing the information to favor you as you go. Once again, take this post to a therapist and fucking sort it out, because holy shit,